It's the debate that splits every travel group and starts arguments over cheap wine. Lisbon or Madrid. One is coastal, soulful, and looks like a film set. The other is imperial, electric, and genuinely doesn't understand the concept of going home early. But which one is actually better value for UK travelers, and which one matches your travel style? Today, we're settling it, head to head, 4 rounds. By the end, you'll know exactly which city belongs on your calendar. Quick note before we start, Portugal versus Spain changes massively by region. But most people start with the capitals, so we're doing a clean showdown. Lisbon versus Madrid across cost, vibe, food, and weather, plus the best escape plan day trips for each. And I want you playing along. Keep a running score in your head. Team Lisbon or Team Madrid? Drop your prediction in the comments now. Let's see if you change your mind by the end. Lisbon's vibe is enchanting. It doesn't rush you, partly because the city is basically a cardio workout. Hills, stairs, cobblestones, and tiny streets that force you to slow down whether you want to or not. It feels like a city you discover, not a city you do. Neighborhoods are the whole game here. Alfama feels ancient and maze-like. Lanes, laundry lines, hidden corners where you'll definitely get lost. Bairro Alto flips the script at night, quiet by day, properly, social by evening. Príncipe Real and Santos lean creative, concept stores, specialty coffee, slightly bohemian energy. And because Lisbon sits by the Atlantic, you get that coastal mood, light, breeze, and sunsets that feel like a daily event rather than something you chase. Madrid is the opposite, in the best way. If Lisbon is a vinyl record in a candlelit cafe, Madrid is a stadium concert that somehow never ends. Big city energy, wide boulevards, huge plazas, and a social culture that genuinely doesn't understand the concept of heading home early. Dinner at 10 p.m. is normal. Midnight is still early. Madrid doesn't do background city. It's a place where you join the flow. Malasaña is vintage cool and counterculture. La Latina is built for slow afternoons that accidentally become nights. Chueca is bright, confident, and always buzzing. Madrid feels less like a tourist set and more like a city you've temporarily been invited into. Vibe is personal, but here's the cleanest way to call it. If you want scenic, relaxed, coastal charm, Lisbon wins. If you want non-stop energy, nightlife, and a louder social scene, Madrid wins. I'm calling round 1 a tie, because your travel style is the tiebreaker. All right, numbers. Because romance is great, until you see your bank statement. Overall, Lisbon tends to come out cheaper day to day, especially for eating out and groceries. Recent cost of living comparisons show Madrid running about 3 to 4% higher when you factor everything in. And restaurants are where Madrid really stings. Here's what catches people off guard. The accommodation gap has narrowed significantly. In central areas, Lisbon can feel just as pricey as Madrid, sometimes more. Long-term rent comparisons actually show Madrid can be slightly cheaper than Lisbon for similar neighborhoods. For short stays, expect to pay roughly £80 to £120 per night for a decent central hotel in either city during shoulder season. Whatever you pick, book early for spring and autumn. Those shoulder seasons are the sweet spot. Better weather, lower prices, fewer crowds. This is where Lisbon lands the cleanest hits. A typical cheap eats meal runs around 10 to 12 euros in Lisbon versus 14 to 16 euros in Madrid. Doesn't sound massive until you multiply it across a week. Even the small stuff stacks up. A draft beer is typically 50 cents to €1 cheaper. Cappuccino, similar story. And Portuguese wine punch is way above its price point. You can drink brilliantly for very little. On a broader Portugal versus Spain comparison, Spanish restaurant prices trend higher across the board. Both cities have solid public transport. Metro, trams, buses. Day passes are reasonable in both, but taxis are a sneaky budget leak in Madrid. Per kilometer rates run higher, and it adds up fast if you're not careful. Flip side, Madrid often has cheaper fuel at the pump. Useful if you're hiring a car for day trips. Round 2 goes to Lisbon. Even if accommodation is closer than it used to be, Lisbon's day-to-day spending, especially food and drink, generally stretches your budget further. And for UK travelers, watching every pound, that daily saving compounds quickly. This round is dangerous. It will start arguments, but let's do it properly. Lisbon tastes like the Atlantic, seafood everywhere, and the city has that simple ingredients done perfectly. Philosophy nailed. And yes, Pastel de Nata is the headline. Flaky pastry, creamy custard, caramelized top, The original ones from Belém are worth the queue. But honestly, the random bakery round the corner is probably 90% as good. But Lisbon food is bigger than one tart. Petisco's culture, Portuguese tapas, essentially, grilled sardines in summer, clams in garlic and olive oil, bacalhau done 100 different ways, and comforting real meal spots where lunch feels like an everyday ritual, not a tourist performance. Bonus for wine lovers. Portugal genuinely punches above its price point. You can drink brilliantly here without trying. Madrid isn't about one signature dish, it's about the ritual. The city's superpower is how social eating is. A slow crawl through bars, markets, and busy little spots where you stand shoulder to shoulder with locals and just point at whatever looks good. You're here for jamon, the real stuff. Sliced thin enough to see through, tortilla that's still wobbly in the middle, croquetas, patatas bravas, gambas al ajillo, and the simple magic of turning one quick drink into 3 hours without even noticing. And then there's the sweet finish, churros con chocolate, especially at 2 a.m. when your future self is begging you to go to bed, but your present self is already ordering another round. Food is a draw because Lisbon wins on coastal flavors, everyday comfort, and iconic sweets, but Madrid wins on the pure joy of the tapas ritual and the night out energy around eating. It's not about the individual dishes, it's about the experience of eating them. Quick pause. Where's your vote sitting right now? Team Lisbon or Team Madrid? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more travel showdowns like this, hit subscribe. I'll ask at the end which matchup you want next. Porto versus Barcelona, Algarve versus Costa del Sol, you decide. Lisbon is one of Europe's sunniest capitals, around 2,800 sunshine hours a year. You feel it the moment you arrive. Summers are warm, but not brutal. August averages around 28 to 29 degrees Celsius, and the Atlantic breeze takes the edge off. It never feels as suffocating as inland cities. Winters stay relatively mild compared to most European capitals. You might need a jacket, but you won't need to plan around the weather. Madrid sits inland at altitude, so it swings harder. Colder winters, hotter summers. Average July, highs peak around 34 degrees Celsius, and heat waves push well beyond that. Recent years have seen record-breaking summer heat across Spain. If you're planning July or August, this genuinely matters. The upside, it's often bone dry, so you're less likely to have your plans washed out by rain. Here's where it gets interesting. Both cities have incredible day trips, but they're completely different flavors. Lisbon's cheat code: you can do city and beach in the same trip without any effort. Cascais is about 40 minutes by train. Proper beaches, seafood restaurants, relaxed coastal vibe. Sintra's UNESCO palaces are a similar distance. You can genuinely split a week between city exploration and beach days without needing to change accommodation. Madrid's escapes aren't beaches. They're UNESCO-level history at ridiculous speed. Toledo is roughly 30 minutes by high-speed train. Segovia is around 25 to 30 minutes. That's insane. You can wake up in Madrid, spend the day in a medieval city that feels like a different century, and be back for dinner. If culture and history are your thing, Madrid's day trip game is genuinely world-class. For year-round comfort and easy city plus beach flexibility, this round goes to Lisbon. Madrid's day trips are spectacular, but the summer heat is a genuine factor, and you can't escape to a beach in 40 minutes. So here's the truth. Lisbon wins more categories on paper, especially cost and weather. But Madrid can absolutely be the better trip if you want maximum city energy. You want coastal charm, slow wandering, incredible viewpoints, great value meals, and the option to hit the beach without turning it into a whole travel day. You want big city buzz, world-class museums, late nights that turn into early mornings, and a social culture that makes you feel like you've joined the city, not just visited it. Final score, Lisbon 3, Madrid 1, but honestly, your travel style is the real tiebreaker. Now it's your turn. Team Lisbon or Team Madrid? Comment your pick and tell me why. And if you want the next showdown, Porto versus Barcelona, Algarve versus Costa del Sol, Seville versus Valencia, drop it in the comments. Most requested wins. Subscribe for more honest travel comparisons that actually help you decide. See you in the next one.